did just cut out, but I managed to get it back on. Just know that if it goes out, it'll probably just take me a second to, just pop back in. Hopefully my internet's okay though.
As long as you're not lagging. Where are you?
Where am I? What can I say that you're going to understand being not from the UK?
No, I mean, like, is it like your parents' house? Is it like a friend's?
Yeah, it's my friend. They live in like the middle of the country, and yeah, just a bit of peace and quiet for the weekend. Although I am working today, which is very stressful. But you might see me disappear off and scream and shout at something whilst we're streaming.
I gotta say, like, you have the best view so far. Like, you should make all your YouTube videos in this view. It's the best.
You reckon? Are you saying that?
Yeah, the composition is just perfect. It's just so artistic. Oh, he's gone. Okay, so now he's back. I want to say comment something, but yeah, he's back. I'm gonna just take my pills.
Yeah, I can still hear you when all of that goes on, although it seems to be frozen now.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to connect these babies and we'll start the show.
This is going to be a fun episode, but this camera has like, I don't know whether this is going to work, but it has like a, I can't really see any different.
Magnetic.
It's like a black mist filter, but you can't. Yeah. It's like it's such a cool camera, but it's so shit. It's a DJI camera, but they just doesn't work with Mac. And I saw our friend Reimar like streaming with one of these little cameras, and I even messaged him saying, "How are you getting that to connect to your laptop? Because I've not been able to get this to consistently." You'll see me drop out, And he said, "Just try the right cable."
Yeah.
So I literally stayed up one night trying all of my cables, and one of the ones that I've got with me, one of them seemed to work and it would never disconnect, but as we're just finding out now, it's not working.
Why don't you use your iPhone? The continuity.
That might be a fallback solution, but it's also not a microphone.
Well, the microphone on your Mac is really good, also on your iPhone. For anyone watching, if you want to make videos and you don't have a camera like this, you don't really need it. I don't have it for the show. I just have it because I used to do photo and videography. If I would have to start today from scratch and just make videos, I would absolutely just use my iPhone.
So this is your shot now. How's the microphone now?
It's not as good as before, but I would say it's acceptable.
Let me try something. Let me try and link this bad boy to my iPhone. I'll go in linking mode. I'll disconnect that.
Okay. He's back. He's gone. Now he's back. Okay.
Weirdly, it's not connecting to my phone anymore, which is very annoying. I connected this Bluetooth, this microphone, which also, by the way, DJI, if you're listening, doesn't friggin' work.
Just taking care of the lighting. Well, I see people are joining. We we are trying to get some of the I don't know, like the camera setup working, and also the mic situation, and yeah, we will be starting in a minute.
I wonder if it's because I linked this to my phone that now my phone isn't being picked up by the...
Do you want to connect your phone? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Use continuity, right?
Hang on. I'll be back. It's how funny is that? Just now my phone just isn't being picked up by continuity. I can figure that out.
And that might need a restart or something.
Well, that's why I left and then came back to see if it would need a restart, because it was just working. Of course, it was just working. And the moment I connect this thing to try and get better audio, you're not picking that up, are you?
No. I'm also setting up a few things.
Might just be this camera. I could even just do that. You know what I mean? I could even just do that. That would work. But my phone isn't being picked up. I'm not even sure if you heard that, but you can even use your phone as a microphone.
You maybe shut off the DJI completely.
I have.
You have.
We go full on AirPods. How was that?
No. Is it the previous gen?
I'm going to close Chrome and then come back.
Okay, so he's joining again. We have, interestingly enough, we have some people joining, watching us getting things sorted. We decided to go live before we have everything ready, which is more fun. Yeah, this is how the show is produced. And Sam is trying to get connected, and I'm trying to finish up the content, and I'm just preparing some stuff to show you guys. Okay.
I reckon we just wing it, mate. I reckon we just wing it.
You can't use the previous. So if you use the other view, the other camera, it gets disconnected, right? That's the issue.
Disconnected, yeah.
So can you, for this view would be fine if you don't move the laptop, because when you move it, it creates some noise, and also the vibration is a bit annoying. The video quality is not nearly as much important as the audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying this, and myself, I'm making noise there.
I wonder why my phone just isn't being picked up now. Like, what gives Mac OS? Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? It
Vibe coding.
Like I had my phone connected. It was working. How do let's go into photo booth. It's not even picking up in other apps as well. Like it's just not even being picked up in any other app, which is just super annoying. Oh well. And then the next issue is probably my battery is going to run out, so might have to figure that one out. What about this?
Okay.
What about?
Actually, I'm gonna use the time to see.
What time? There is no time. I'm waiting for you to go. I'm waiting for you to start. Okay, I can now. How is the audio? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Can you even hear me?
Wait, can you? Yeah, it is. It is fine. I can hear you, definitely.
This is my iPhone audio. My iPhone camera, which is now working.
Yeah. Why do you need the cable? For charging? I hope I won't. Yeah, okay. This. Okay, let's go.
How is this? Is this better? Is this coming out of this microphone or am I?
No, no, it's not that microphone. It's another microphone. It's not
this
that
microphone.
Yeah. The iPhone is good. The iPhone is good.
Let's stick with that then.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. Let's see how we get on with this. Thumbnails are going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Nano Banana to remove them. Okay, so how does Google pronounce this, by the way? Okay. Should we start?
Yes, let's start.
All right. So for the audience that has been with us so far, thank you for just chilling there with us. Now we are starting officially. And here's a list of things that we will talk about. So this week, we have a huge announcement from Google of an open source or open, it's not open source, it's open weight, I believe, right? Model has been released from Google, Gemma 4, super powerful. We have Anthropic accidentally leaking their entire source code. And we have cursor design mode we have Pretext to talk to you about. It's a nice library that presumably is going to change how we will build layout and UI for the next decade. And what else do we have? That's pretty much it on my
Claude Code
list.
leaks.
Did
you mention Claude Code list leaks?
I meant the leak of the source code. Yes.
Yeah.
So all of this in today's episode and more. This is Cmd+AI. I'm Kabarza.
And I'm Sam. And this is a week in AI design and dev.
Cool. So, should I start with Site of the Week? Are you excited to see Site of the Week?
I'm very excited about this. I'm very, very excited about this.
Okay, allow to share screen. Cool. All right, so this is Site of the Week, and it's one of the most beautiful websites I've seen in a while. And again, it is from Shopify. As you see, when we load the site, there is this glitchy effect. At the first sight, I thought that's glitching or lagging, but it's not. It's just how the effect is. And as we scroll, we see some really nice imagery, and we see how these masonry layouts come together. And I'm like, why did I never think of this? Like for masonry layouts that I have built in the past, it's really nice. Then we scroll, we have this clock. And so far you're like, yeah, this is quite nice, but there is nothing crazy about it, right? It's just nice. What is so crazy about it? Well, what is so crazy about it? This pill. You click it, and now all of a sudden you have this interdimensional view of the site where if I bring the mouse down, it's like the camera is looking down the page and I can see the rest of the content down and I can scroll. You see the clock? It's there. It's so trippy. It's so freaking cool. It's just such a simple concept. If you just think of the idea, it's very simple. But look, I can look up and I can scroll up among like between the layouts, and it's just insanely, I don't know, it's so creative, it's so beautiful. And as I said prior to the show, I said this is a really short scroll. It's not like one of the other projects that they've done that it's like really long. It's super short, but it has some content in it. There is this slider, you can watch the content, and there is this nice player that you can open and close. So there are more details to it, but yeah, short and very, very punchy, taking the Twitter, the designer Twitter by storm because how beautiful and creative it is. Again, another amazing job from the Shopify design team. Shopify.design.
I was going to say, they always manage to do creative, interesting websites, which is really cool.
Yeah, if you remember, they did this one, the AI, the Renaissance. They were playing with AI, and I can see how they went from that to this. Because in that one they also had some interdimensional thing with the lock and the two browser thing, and someone probably said, hey, we can do this in the same view and just have a 3D X-ray view of the site. So you can see how the ideas are being recycled. I absolutely love this. I love that I can see that it's the same idea being recycled, but done so well, so creatively, just to drive tons of engagement. People get to talk about this, and we enjoy the beauty. This is so freaking good. Yeah, that was it. Short and punchy.
I mean, what is the website about, really? What is what is the website about?
I
Just how we work.
don't make the new normal. How we work is changing shape. So is what's possible. Okay, that's an interesting statement. I think it is about design and how it is changing what we can do on the web and especially on e-commerce. Let's see what these are. I do think it is about design, like the possibility of what is possible to do, which is changing, right?
Because I'm working
with AI,
on
it is changing.
I'm working on an app at the moment, a website, an app at the moment, which uses like video, and it's killing the app. Like it's relying massively on video, and this is still, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I could just be trying to convince myself otherwise here, but video is still such a huge problem for the web. Yet we get really, 3D is sort of an easier thing to deal with. The website I'm creating has video transitions between certain scenes, and it just takes a while to download, to buffer. It's still such a complicated thing. Yet this seems to be running fairly okay on modern machines.
Yeah, so video, this is what a lot of people get wrong. They see a 3D website and they assume it is the heaviest thing ever. It is not. Like, if done well, WebGL can be so much more performant than video. And with video, you have like real limitations with bandwidth, with aspect ratio, you have issues. You have issues with the maximum resolution. And aspect ratio, I know I said it, but like I want to say it again, it is a major thing. But when you render things in a canvas, you can calculate things and you can scale things depending on the resolution and based on, so many different factors. And video, it is just more strict, and it requires high bandwidth, and it is really easy to drop frames. And yeah, it is just, I agree, it is more headache to work with video since ever, and it is still. Not to mention that like WebGL is significantly more difficult. It is difficult, but it is also more versatile, more performant, and can do so much more.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on.
Let's continue. Do you want to take the
Gemma
next
3,
one?
Gemma 4, whatever it is.
Gemma.
Sorry,
what?
I'll do that. I've got a window open here.
I have also like windows open. If you want, I could also, I don't know. I would have to read through. However you
2
feel
seconds. I will share my screen.
Cool.
I'm dealing with one monitor. I'm dealing with the difficulties of a single monitor right now.
You do have an iPad,
Gemma 4,
right?
I have an iPad, yeah.
You could use it as the. I know you know.
I was going to say, do you want me to go set this up now whilst you all sit here?
No. It's fine. It's fine.
So Gemma, Google dropped Gemma 4 sizes from 2 billion to 31 billion, ranking number 3 on the open model chart globally. Built from the same tech as Gemini 3 under Apache 2, so it's free to use. It's free to use. There are 4 sizes apparently. There's 2 billion, 4 billion, 26 billion, 26 billion mixture expert, sorry, and a 31 billion, obviously Big Daddy. So a range of different sizes and all that lot for your needs. And the fact that it's ranking, I mean, let's see, is my screen sharing, by the way? I can't keep jumping around.
Your screen share is working, but yeah. If you go to the chart,
this one here.
Yeah,
model
if you zoom
performance
in
versus size.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So what are we looking at here? It's Quen 3.5. This is the ELO score. What is ELO?
This is the ELO. This is generally that's the ELO. I don't know what a measurement they are using, but we see that it's significantly better than Quen.
Yeah,
well, not significantly,
but also the size, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got
Quen.
Yeah, this is 27 billion, and then this is 397 billion. So the size there, it's beating Quen in comparison to its size. So these are 26 billion, that's 27 billion, that's 31 billion, just a little bit ahead, and they're all roughly, wow. I mean, this is amazing. This is where you want to be, right? So really, really cool. GLM5, this is our good friend Minimax M2.7 then, no. But, GLM 5.1's just been released, so it's a shame we don't get to see that one. But yeah, I mean, for a free model to use on whatever you want, it's pretty good. Like I say, built from the same technology as Gemma 3. Gemini 3, not Gemma 3, correction there. Most capable model family you can run on your own hardware. So I wonder what the actual, I mean, let's open this up over here. And do we see a actual like file size, files and versions here? 10 gig by the looks of things, I reckon around 10 gig. That's the smallest one. So it's not tiny. I would expect something around 2 billion to be half that size, to be honest. But I guess it's pretty capable for, it can do a lot for just 2 billion parameters. The entire family moves beyond simple chat to handle complex logic and agentic workflows. So this could be an interesting, vibe coding tool. I might have to try this, to be honest. Try and see if I can get it working on my vibe coding setup. And yeah. Powerful, accessible, open to power the next generation of pioneering research and products. We've sized the Gemma 4 model specifically to run and fine-tune efficiently on hardware, from billions of Android devices worldwide to not Apple, to laptop GPUs all the way to developer workstations. So yeah, I think I'll be keen to put this to the test, definitely, because we've got all these Chinese models that are making a lot of waves, like KBK 2.5, Minimax. None of which can really run on your hardware. It was just Quen 3.5, which we did a little thing on a few weeks ago, which could actually run on smaller hardware, which was okay. Even going back here, actually, just remind ourselves of the. Where are we now? Gemma. That's all Gemma. Quen 3.5. Just not performing as well, and that was the one that could potentially run on your own hardware. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm going to try it out.
So if I add to the conversation, I see this yet as another win for Google, especially now Google is again picking up steam, as we see. Something that we didn't cover, by the way, another reason why you absolutely need to watch the show Silicon Valley. It's like still relevant. We didn't cover this. Google research introducing Turbo Quant, our new comparison algorithm that reduces LLM key value cache memory by at least 6 times and delivers up to 8 times the speed up. I'm not sure if this is directly contributing to Gemma 4 or not, because this is about the memory cache. But this is another thing that is Google doing for like reducing and just making the model smaller and faster, which is even more important if you know. I don't know if you know about the new limitations by Claude. So Claude now has introduced more limitations during peak hours to users, and it just shows that it's very new. It's very new. I think it came out a few days ago that they are introducing new limitations. So you hit your limits much faster. Why all this matters is because it seems like we're not getting the models much more powerful, at least not order of magnitude more powerful. What we are getting is a lot of efficiency gains and making the models smaller and making the smaller models faster and cheaper and things like that. So this becomes even more important, so we can do maybe a swarm of agents and that kind of things. If I also read here, this tweet also resonated. It cannot be overstated how big this news is. Being able to run a frontier AI model on your own hardware means token costs are effectively free, given that you have the computer and the electricity. But yeah, it is effectively free. AI will be, I don't know how to pronounce this, ubiquitous and cheap. Ubiquitous and cheap as the internet itself. This is like really big. It is becoming a commodity, like truly, in a way that you can have proper models on your own hardware, and for all sakes of privacy and things like this. This is a dagger in OpenAI and Anthropic.
Let me just jump in here though as well. Is that this person? What was his name? Sorry,
Nick? I don't know him, but it made sense.
Nick. I don't think Nick has used this model. Sorry, got to be PC. They have, what he's saying in theory is correct, right? We're definitely moving in that direction. It's the direction a lot of people want. But like, I don't know if you know this, but my channel has been really peaking testing local models, running local models and using them to code, using them with OpenClaw, doing things with them. And yes, granted, my usage is primarily code focus. I would say that's one of the least demanding things outside of chat that you can do with AI. Running this on an M5, again, a MacBook Air, but I don't think we're going to see leaps and bounds when it comes to the Mac Pro and the Mac, M5 Pro and the M5 Max. I still don't think we're there with AI. And what he's saying here sounds like that he's actually run this and it's actually something usable, but I've got a hunch that he hasn't. So basically what I'm saying is the long and short of it is I want to use this. I want to actually see it in real world practice, because this sounds like it could apply to anyone, but I reckon what he's saying applies to those few with very, very expensive hardware, just being able to run it locally, So yeah, I'm apprehensive to take his tweet to the everyday person like you and I with our MacBooks and our M1 Pros and our, whatever.
I agree. I personally tend to use the models in their absolute maximum setting, unless I definitely think that the task shouldn't be overthinked. If it's the case, I will drop to a lower model, but I don't mind waiting 10 extra seconds or even a minute to get something better. I don't even use the haiku. So I don't know where this is standing comparison to haiku. That's what would be interesting to me. I don't know if you know from the top of your mind where haiku would be here roughly.
No idea, because we don't know how many parameters haiku is.
Yeah, but
In
definitely
terms of
at the end of the day, yeah, at the end of the day, this is an open model. You can run it on your own chip. Maybe there are people with like lightweight enough tasks where they can use this. I don't know. Maybe there are tasks like that. Maybe it is going to be useful for bigger models. Maybe you can have Sonnet creating tasks for your local AI. That could be something in the future. Yeah.
But herein lies the problem, though, that means that people will never be happy with AI locally right now, in that you're comparing it to, and many other people will be comparing it to, the frontier models, OpenAI.
Yeah.
Like you will just not get there. People were surprised that, hang on, how would a model that's running on hardware that's halfway across the world, how is that still faster than AI running on your actual machine? And the truth of the matter is, they've got such powerful hardware. You need such powerful hardware to run this stuff. And when people first start getting into AI, they're like, they are comparing it to the frontier models, and they are weighing up those options. And ultimately, if you are doing that, you're going to be very, very disappointed with how well AI is running locally for the everyday person right now. Quen 3.5 was a glimmer of that running on the app, but that's just doing chat. And who really cares about AI chat running locally? I mean, it's nice, but people want to get real work done, and I just don't think we're there yet. And all that to be said, I want to try it. I want to pull this down and give it a go.
Definitely. It is quite fun. I mean, I'm paying $200 for Claude. I'm on the max model again after downgrading. Now I upgraded again. And I'm thinking, like, I'm paying that and I'm not hitting the limits. So why not use, the best model for whatever task I have? Why should I go through the headache of doing this unless I find it fun, which I do. And I think I will find some time to download this, maybe set up a chat, because as you know, I have shown it before, I do have my own chat app, like a complete chat app with web search and some comparison tools and things like that, completely vibe coded. I'm thinking, why not put this, like run this on my computer and make it available to my friends and family, something like this, just for fun, just as an experiment. Maybe I want to do this. That would be really fun, and it wouldn't cost me, a fortune letting my friends, run the model from my computer. So something fun to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think, that's
we are geeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it's funny. That's where I've sort of started to land in my content, is doing a lot of local AI stuff. Oh, whoa!
Yeah,
was that me or was that you? You just went crazy.
Yeah, no, I think you're hallucinating.
Oh, okay, fine.
No, it's just a cable.
Okay. Jesus. Yeah, like that's all us lot watching YouTube can expect from this stuff, is just having fun with it and just enjoying it and seeing where it goes. We can probably pretty much ignore, I don't know, I'm speaking too soon, I haven't even tried the thing, but we can probably safely ignore this sort of stuff for us. You just need, I think even the H100 was even mentioned in the article. Do you know what I mean? That's like a, I don't know, do you know how much that GPU is? I think it's tens of thousands.
I think it was 40K. No, I think.
Oh, okay, 40, so way off then.
H100. I'm searching. Yeah, 40,000, 38,000. But yeah.
And how much VRAM is? I think it's got like 97 gig VRAM. So you need a few of these. You know, you need a good few of these. Is that it?
80 gigabytes.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Ah, that thing looks sexy. It looks so good.
Oh, look at the insides of that. Oh yeah.
Look at the size of the GPU.
Look at that. Yeah. Oh god. Right, we should move on. It's getting a bit too steamy.
Okay, I'm adding this. Okay, I'll buy it off the screen.
Yeah. Put it in your bookmarks.
Cool.
Oh, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? That was a bit awkward.
No.
I'm also working off screens. Sorry if I'm getting distracted a little bit. I'm multitasking right now.
I have something that I haven't. Let me just show it, and we'll see what you think. So I saw this tweet about this tool, and it got me. I don't know if I'm creeped out or excited. Mm-hmm. You add this AI tool to your Google Meet and you chat with it, but it has a face or like multiple faces, and it looks so good. I mean, it's a taste thing. Like there are different styles, but.
Well, hang on. Is this a Google product?
No, it's not. It just.
Oh, Pika.
Pika. Conversations tend to get better with a face and a voice. I don't know. That's why we are thrilled to release the beta version of the first video chat skill for any agent, powered by our new real-time model, Pika Stream 1.0. The skill preserves memory and personality and enables real-time adaptability, and if you use it with your Pika AI self, they'll be able to execute agentic tasks during the call. So that's where we are going to spend our GPU powers with, giving agents, I guess, a face and personality. And it's on GitHub. I haven't tested it. I just saw it, and I don't know. It looks good, at least the design wise. It looks really. What would you
do with it? What's the goal of this thing? I don't understand.
You, instead of chatting like in a text, just with text, you chat with faces, and it seems like they are real time, and they just reply to you, and you can have multiple ones with multiple. I guess you could have. Maybe you could have Anthropic models with OpenAI models with, oh God, you could have Grok. You can have all of them in a chat and then chat with them. Grok had, but yeah.
The sexy one.
So that's the idea. And it seems like that it can also execute tasks. But what type of task? I mean, I don't think it is just it is like more powerful than anything else we have. It's just that it has a face, a cartoonish face that seems to be real time, but it's just a video. I don't know how much of that is real. I would have to test it, but I haven't yet. I just saw it prior to the show.
Interesting. Was this marked as one of the things you want to cover? Is this No, you
I don't know. It was just
cursor next.
It was, yeah. We can. Well, I don't have it. It's not active. It's not working for me. But where is it? Yeah, here. I need to. Should I cover this? Yeah. Can you hear
Is
me?
that me or is him? Probably me.
What do you mean? Yeah, it's
You
probably
cut out
you.
for a moment. I wondered if it was me.
Okay. I don't have the design mode. That's the thing. I tried my best. I tried like for 15 minutes. I couldn't get it active. But we can talk about it.
Well, should we start talking about Cursor 3 as a whole and then dig into the design mode?
Is this Cursor 3?
Interesting. Okay, so it seems like something different then.
Is this Cursor 3?
It looks like it. I mean, that looks pretty much as I would expect it to look.
Okay, let me search that.
It's a complete overhaul.
Cursor.
Version 3. They rebuilt the whole thing from scratch and centered it around AI agents instead of files. So this is a massive paradigm shift, especially for Cursor, because they had this kind of agent and whatever toggle, which was just half baked. And you know, I started to find Cursor to be really clunky, really just full of just awful choices. It started to turn into vibe coded slop, to be honest. But this feels like it's taken the best of everything, particularly Codex, because I think Codex, well, I'd say Codex set a trend, but realistically it was anti-gravity that set this trend. And IDE centered around agents. And now it's a much cleaner. You still got files, and I actually really like this. I do really like it. It's a shame. Well, actually, I'll speak about that in a second. But yeah, I'm here for this overhaul.
And okay, I have everything. Yeah, I have stuff to show and mention. The thing is, I haven't explored the Cursor 3 completely, but I have. Look, I have all of these windows to talk about exactly that.
Go for it.
All right, let's talk about Cursor 3. So what you see here is the old Cursor. And the issue with it is it's crammed with a bunch of like UI choices that are very questionable, very difficult to navigate between, and it's really easy to get a completely messed up UI per project, per instance that you open. But now there is this new button, Agent Window, which is Cursor 3, which looks awfully looking like what? You know what this looks like? This looks like exactly like the Codex app, which also looks like the T3 code. Well, T3 code looks like Codex app. All of them, I have them to show you, but let's talk about this in a second. But let's talk about this first. So this is Cursor 3, and what you see here is a simpler UI where you have your chats and projects. Yes, projects, like plural, multiple projects on the side, and per project you can have a different chat going on, an agent doing something, and then you jump between these projects without looking too much into the code. If you want, you can. You still have the browser, you have the terminal, you have the files, which I really like. This is what I prefer more compared to something like the Codex app. But I'm not sure if it's needed. It's just that it's a nice to have. But yeah, so this is the new cursor with the focus on the UI being much simpler, where you focus just on multiple projects and multiple chats. You focus on giving away tasks and not looking at the files or the code or anything like that. As you know, I've been using Codex app for the majority of my work in the past. Pretty much all my projects, in the past few weeks, I was running this every day, all day, but I made a switch. I made a switch recently, like as of maybe 2-3 days ago, to T3 Code. So this is by Theo. And the reason I moved to T3 Code, and as you see, all of these have the same exact UI. The UI is almost identical. You have projects and chats. That's it. And then in each, you can have a new agent. You have a new project. You can have a new chat. You tell the agent to do something. You have a few buttons here for publishing, pushing a commit, and opening the files, opening the terminal, things like that. But that's pretty much it. It's very much agentic view. The reason I like T3 Code is that I can have Claude or Codex. And these are running from my subscription that I already have. So I don't have to pay extra. And T3 Code itself is free. It's open source and free. So it just using my already existing Claude and Codex subscriptions in this much simpler, nicer UI. What Cursor is doing is exactly that. It's the exact same concept, but as you probably have seen here at the bottom, it says free plan. I was paying for Cursor for 2 accounts actually at some point, but now I'm on the free plan because I don't know, I haven't used it as much. But with this, I don't know, I kind of like the idea of having my files just as an option to see here with my terminal, with my browser. It's just nice to have the option. But yeah, if I go into settings here, I see a lot more, like a lot of option already exist, options, things like agents that you can change. You have the model selector. So it seems like the Cursor 3.0 is fairly advanced compared to the other tools. So it's not a bare bone. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what the beta here is. Access the beta. I don't know what this is, but they have plugins, they have rules and skills. But in a way, these are not necessarily something that you cannot add to the others. Either here in Codex, you can do pretty much the same thing. You have the MCP servers, you have environments, things like that. With T3, it's the least advanced one in a way, because it's open source, it's done by Theo and his team, but I do believe he has a good sense of like product design for what this should be. So I'm giving it a try. At the end of the day, all of these are the same concept. This is this is just I think at this point, this is a matter of what you prefer. You might prefer this, just a good old terminal. And what I really miss sometimes about using a terminal is this. I just, having 4 different windows, 4 different things going on at the same time, having tabs. I wish I could do the same. I was even thinking like T3 code is open source. I was thinking like, can I just do some vibe coding and take this and have like multiple versions of this running on a canvas? And yes, on a canvas, like on a Figma like canvas, so I can zoom and pan and have like new nodes open. It just, all of this is just about how we are trying to do this agentic work that is not completely figured out, but it seems like more and more companies are going this direction, which is also a bit scary in a way, which is not looking at the code. It's mostly looking at the tasks, or like giving away the task to the agents and letting the agents do the work. On a kind of separate news, still related to Cursor, they have this design mode apparently that I should have, but I can't access it. So it says it is with Control-Shift-D. And here, if I just let me minimize everything, if I go here to keyboard shortcuts, you see I have this toggle design mode, Shift-Command-D, right? Here, I press Shift-Command-D, nothing happens. And you know what's really stupid? They had this Shift-Command-D for two other completely separate things. So just by default, three different the same shortcut existed for three different things, which was probably the issue. But even now that I removed those, I still can't access it. I have this old selector, which is different. So it seems like this one, let's play the video. It's not just a selector. You could do this before, but there is something new about it. So it seems like now you can draw. I guess this is just a screenshot that is going to be sent to the model. You can absolutely do this manually, but it is just much nicer to have built in the tool. But as I said, I can't access. Well, it seems like this is in. Maybe I'm wrong. It seems like this is inside of the Cursor 3. So, but why is it showing in Cursor 2? Yeah, this is where it's becoming kind of a mess. Yeah, I'll try to get it working.
Yeah, I like having the code open for most of my projects. Like, it's just nice to again dip in. It's especially when you're, you know, unaware of how it's building the project. You can just sort of familiarize yourself. You can just change one line if you know exactly what needs to be changed. It's nice to have this code open at the same time. And so I like that Cursor seemed to have brought everything all in one together. However, I'm still undecided, and I do hope that some of these IDEs still remain as pure as VS Code, because I'm still pretty much undecided. I use Codex purely because of the double rate limit that we got, and I've got a free account right now, only for an extra month, I think. And the thing is, I find I'm not aware of what's going on half as much as when I'm coding in Claude Code, sorry. And it's because Claude is very clear about the lines of code that you change as and when it changes them. So if it's going to do something, it shows you what it's done and then it moves on. The difference with Codex is that you can keep an eye on things on the right hand side in the code diff tool, and but it's not linear. It's not saying I'm going to do this and then you see the change and then it's going to do, you know what I mean? You're just seeing everything that it's doing. Now, I'm very open to the fact that, I mean, I can open it in VS Code. I'm very open to the fact that I could be, I'm even looking now, it's not there. it in the feed. Let me. I can't really share my screen, but in the codex feed, it just links the file that it's changed, and you can't. It's just not clear what lines of code it's done. I'm even clicking on the diffs right now, and I can open them up, but it's sort of again a bulk thing. All that to be said, I'm still undecided whether I prefer the separation of Warp with Claude Code and then just the code if I want it to be. I think the ideal situation would be Codex, but be more transparent about the code that it's changed. I'm just going to get a charger. What do you think about that? Discuss.
I'm also undecided. I'm changing my mind constantly because I think it isn't. We haven't figured it out completely, and as I said, it is shifting. We went from VS Code full control over code to Copilot kind of way of just changing or like getting AI to help you in line, to Cursor to let the agents do everything but in front of you, so you see everything. You remember the days that we were like accepting changes like one by one. You would press 10 times accept in just in the chat in one run. I was doing that in Cursor because I was like, wait, where, even though I don't code, I was like, where is this going? Like, is this the right thing? Are you doing the right thing? Are you editing the right file? To now letting the AI to do the whole thing and we don't even look at the code.
Yeah.
And it is definitely what I try to do with this, showing like all of these, to say it is a spectrum. You can do either of these, and I do think what the Cursor 3 is, it seems like, now that I've also found the design tool, by the way, I do think it is the sweet spot. But being the sweet spot, it doesn't mean it is necessarily for me, because you don't want to always be in the sweet spot. I do think like right now, the T3 code for me is the winner, because it is, Codex was for me already the winner, but Codex allow you just to use the Codex AI. With T3, I can use my Claude and Codex, whichever I want. It is absolutely like a game changer for me. Maybe I only wish to have the browser here just so it is a bit more clean. I'm a bit undecided on this. Maybe I start coding something myself. T3 code everything in a canvas. I'm a fan of like putting things on a canvas and have a like bird eye view. If I show here like a canvas like this, even this tool that I'm building, it has a canvas. Everything is a canvas for me. I just like that view.
Yeah. To me, that's I'll have to try it. I'm open to it. But yeah, I do. I'm Claude Code. I'm a Claude Code sucker, to be honest, and I just like the way Claude. Did you see that Claude Code have introduced a new what do they call it? Not fluid, but anti-flashing, so things don't happen at jolt anymore, and now it's a lot more fluid. You can kind of scroll up and down, which is quite cool.
And you have mouse interactions. You can use the cursor to click around. Wow, 2026! You can use your cursor to move where you are editing in the text. But I mean, it's the terminal, and it is not gonna like for a lot of people in our audience, probably this looks scary still. I've gotten used to it, and I like it quite a lot. It's just that I don't know, this is a bit more persistent in a way. You know, my chats exist. I can send them to the archive. I can access them in the archive. this persistency is the reason I'm staying with this. And the multi-view is why I also really like this. And I mean, I think you mentioned it one time. I think it has also some aura or some sort of like, you're using the terminal, you're interacting with your computer and with your AI through the terminal. It's kind of cool. It is looking cool having all of this, but by no means I'm not saying this is like a measurement of being a pro, but it is cool.
There are some people doing some interesting stuff. Tmux is another way to look at this sort of thing. But again, I don't know. Maybe I want the variety. They're all sort of starting to merge into one with subtle differences. I quite like the separation of CLI and code. Sorry, actually looking at my code. But yeah, it's interesting how far we've come. And this combined obviously with Composer 2, which we spoke about as well. Like, I'm glad they finally addressed the AI slop. Doesn't mean I'm going to be paying an extra year for it, which is coming to. I think I will, but it's good. It's good to see.
Yeah,
it just felt really sluggish and slow, to be honest. I just didn't like it.
Cursor.
The previous one, yeah.
To me, it is the UI that is changing all the time, and it seems like I can't do what I want with AI, and I hate this UI that your new agent, you have new agent and you have new agent here. It just doesn't make sense. You have duplications everywhere, and if I go from here, I'm right now in the, what do they call it? The editor to agent mode. You see how the agent is on the right side. It goes to the left side. Why? You cut off. So I was just melting down over this. I was saying that you have this agent on the right side. Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
You see how I have the agent here and the chat here, and I have the agent, new agent, and also new agent button. And if I change the view from editor to agent, they go to the left side. And I'm like, why, cursor? Why? Like, it's not these two. It seems like you have two templates that you can freely change, and they are just calling it editor or agent, but you're almost completely free to change them however you want, and it's just not persistent enough throughout. It doesn't give you the same experience every time, and it gets really busy super fast. Yeah. You're cutting off. I think. Yeah. Anything else we can add to the conversation?
No. I mean, I'm just glad they're addressing the mess that was the previous, to say the least.
We have a comment about what Claude Code leak. We'll talk about that. We will talk about that.
Do you want to talk about forgot what it's called? Pretext?
Since I'm sick, I need to catch my breath. So it would be great if you can go with, and I'll go after. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me set up Claude Code.
Yeah, set it up. I also have something cool about it to show from Vespos. But first you go on and then I will show what I have.
Okay. Well, let's see how we go. Again, single monitor. So Claude Code just became open source. Not intentionally, but it became open source. Through some mishap, the source code that creates Claude Code, which has famously been closed source for, you know, eternity. Again, intentionally closed source, unintentionally leaked a couple of times now. Someone pushed that to the npm registry, the source map, which is a file that allows you to decompress all of the jumbled up code that a build process creates, and actually define all of the files that make up Claude Code, revealing loads of juicy secrets. We'll quickly go through this article here just to make sure we've covered everything. Anthropic accidentally leaked part of the internal source code for its coding assistant Claude Code, according to the spokesperson. Surprised the person in the chat is like, what Claude Code leak? Because this was everywhere. Jesus Christ. The leak could help give software developers and Anthropic's competitors insight into how it built viral coding tool, and nonsense. That's important. Nonsense involved in the exposure. Thing is, I have to be honest. You know, I got sent this by people. I actually do not care, to be honest. It's juicy gossip and we'll go through everything, but I don't care. Like, I'm not one of those people who is like in a mad thing about open source and Claude Code needs to be open source. But, you know, it's there. And someone actually has rebuilt it in Python, which is completely legal in that you've created something, a derivative piece of work from something, which means it's not now, you know, it's no longer, you know, it's no longer like copyright claimable. So that was the first thing that was done. So go and get that. Obviously, they're DMCAing everyone who picks up uploads Claude Code open source to GitHub. They can DMCA request those, and they will and have been doing. But the Python library, and I think there's a Rust version as well, I'm not too sure. Those are all, you know, go nuts with those. They're all there. But I think it's what we've learned from the code that's actually where is my window now? I've lost my window. Is what we've learned from it that's the most interesting thing. Oh, I've really lost that window. Here we go. Here it is. Just going to go through this to make sure we've covered everything. Claude Code, blah blah blah. Okay, we can ignore that now.
I find it interesting how it is for OpenAI and other competitors potentially. Are they like sitting down and looking into the code and trying to understand what they can learn from it potentially to make their products better?
Absolutely, for sure. And Claude Code does have a magic to it. Not only have they got a great starting point with the actual model itself with Claude, like it's like the Apple ecosystem, you know, the software runs great on the hardware because they have that control of the entire pipeline. So there's just a real nice magic between, like, synchronicity between the two that may or may not be able to be translated to other tools. You know, it's just how it is, how it runs with Claude. But they'll definitely be looking into some of the stuff. Interestingly, though, I saw a video by the Agine, and one of the things that someone found was if it's trying to understand if it's a negative, like if you're frustrated or you're pissed off with Claude and whatever. Yeah. And instead of using their AI to actually query whether it's a negative sentiment, they literally just use search and replace, like plain old JavaScript, to look through whether it's like piss, fuck off, rubbish, crap, and all, whatever.
You can see them. Right? Yes. Yeah. Twat.
So exactly. And so you'd think that there is some of this stuff would be actually really, really complex, or they'll be using the most sophisticated thing, but actually they're using basic regex, find and replaces on but it is
cheaper, right? And what they do with this, to be specific, they are just going to flag the conversation. They are just going to, from what I understand, they do use this for analytics. Now they might be able to go and look at the conversation. I'm not sure about that. Is it something that they can do, look at your conversation, or is that encrypted? I'm not sure. But it is, I know for sure that they are, for the least, they are using this for analytics to see how satisfied or unsatisfied you are with the session.
Exactly, yeah. And also, there were some things that I'm going to add myself to the stage. There are some leaks that happened. One of them has actually already been within like a day. They already released it, which is this buddy feature, Tamagotchi virtual pet. And I hatched that as soon as I saw it. I was like, what was this buddy thing? And you type /buddy and it hatches this creature. And there's different rarities. It was like this Tamagotchi / Pokemon hybrid thing. But if we have a look at some of the other stuff here, we've got Kairos, autonomous demon, always on agent with GitHub webhooks, 5-minute cron cycles, /dream. It's got auto dream. This is kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah, memory.
So obviously things running in the background, just understanding what's going on and constantly observing your GitHub and certain things like that. Ultra plan. So we have Ultra Think, which expands the memory thinking budget that you have. You can just type /ultra think. It goes all rainbow, and then it just can think for longer. This is Ultra Plan. Offloads planning to a remote 30-minute Opus session, 3-second polling, teleport Sentinel returns results. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Do you know what 3-second polling means?
3-second polling means whilst it's running for 30 seconds, you're going to be checking in every 3 seconds to see what's going on.
Now
I'm not
for
sure
30 minutes
because
yeah,
because seemingly you can change that polling number. So
interesting. Sure. I did use this in I did use this in the T3 code. Yeah, in T3 code I use Ultra Plan. I don't think it went for 30 minutes, but it did go for, I think I saw 18 minutes.
And is it remote? Is it done on your machine or is it remote?
I'm not sure. I didn't check. I used it and I didn't check too much.
Cool. Yeah, so this one's obviously sending off to remote server doing its thing. Probably gonna have to pay extra for that, to be honest. And where am I? Tungsten tool. This is an internal thing, direct keystroke and screen capture of virtual environment. Is that like a bit of a data collection thing? I'm not too sure, but seems like a internal only thing. Voice mode. We already had voice mode, so maybe it's using DeepGram Nova 3 as its model now instead of something else. I don't know. And coordinator mode, multi-agent swarm with workers and scratch pads. Again, something I thought that we already knew about or already have even. Bunch of other stuff, undercover mode, anti-distillation, interesting. So they've already started to patch that. Session memory, auto dream, and native client. So yeah, a few things have leaked, particularly that buddy thing. I don't really understand it, to be honest. It just keeps whinging and whining in the background and saying things about my code. I don't really know what. Yeah, just check my notes here. That's kind of it, really. I mean, have you heard anything else that's been going on with regards to the leak?
Yeah, I have cool stuff.
Honestly, I'm not.
The spinner verbs. So when you send off Claude to do something, it says thinking, and it also uses other words instead of thinking, these verbs. And the list also exists. They have 187 of them, and it's just a cute thing to, this is, by the way, Wes found it. And yeah, it is just fun to look at this. I didn't know most of these words, but I'm gonna look them up. It's just kind of fun. Zesting. Yeah,
Zesting.
sketching and puzzling and I don't know, gusting and frosting and I don't know. It's just forging and forming, grooving and imagining. Yeah, it's just a bunch of beep booping. It's just kind of it's kind of cute. So I think they also asked who came up with this, and they did mention I forgot the name, but one of the employees and then the rest of the employees from Anthropic came together and just added more verbs. So yeah, it is quite funny.
It's cool. It's cool. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know what actually comes of this. I think it's more out of curiosity than anything else. Like what truly makes up the brains of something that we all think is just this mythical being. But yeah, there you go.
So
that's
a few
Claude Code leak.
Yeah, and a few other notes that I saw from other creators covering this were like there's a tons of comments, like more than usual, and the comments sound like they were not written for human. They were written for the next agent looking over the code to understand what it is. So that kind of makes sense, and it is the new era that we are in. And also, I saw comments on how it does look like a code that was written all by just prompting, that meaning that it's not like the highest quality code.
Yeah.
But I'm not qualified to judge that.
I mean, you know, it's the way things are now, isn't it? Really, it's quite crazy how we've just good is good enough, you know.
Yeah,
good enough is good enough. It works.
I'm paying $200 because it is the best. It is the best, and I'm happy with it.
I have noticed a few little bugs creep in, but they all kind of contain little bugs. You know, Codex, it's not checking off the list, the task list that it's doing as it's doing it. It's forever rotating on the first one, and boom, it will just like complete them all. It takes ages to complete them all, but it will just check them when it's done. On Claude Code, I've seen it. What the numbers or letters from my status bar are infiltrating the text as I scroll up and down, which is quite annoying. But again, it gets to. We shouldn't accept it, really. I'm not saying that we should accept it, but I'm also saying that you know, it does the work. It does what we need it to. So yeah, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. That's the Claude Code leak. I don't think there's much more to say about it, to be honest. Yeah, cool. That's it. Okay, are you good to talk about Pretext?
Yeah, sure. Let me. I'm not sure which one of my screens I should show first. That's why I'm thinking like, well, okay, I'll just show the main thing. All right, so we have a revolution. Yes, a revolution in front end. Well, maybe. It is a very promising library. My dear front end developers and anyone who's interested in the future of interfaces. This is by Cheng Lu, one of the core members of React and an engineer in Midjourney. I have crawled through depth of hell to bring you, for the foreseeable years, one of the more important foundational pieces of UI engineering, if not in implementation, then certainly at least in concept. Fast, accurate, and comprehensive userland text measurement algorithm in pure TypeScript, usable for laying out entire web pages without CSS, bypassing DOM measurements and reflow. So, when you have bodies of text on a web page, the DOM has to measure the length of the text, the width, the height, where the text breaks, and all the measurements for where these pixels should go. So what he has done is bypassing the DOM and bringing us like text layout that you can use with this library at 120 frames per second. Let's, before going into his use cases, let's show what people have building with it. So this is one of them, and we can actually test
That's
it.
the one that turned it for me. It was quite cool.
Yeah. So none of these are things that we couldn't do before, just to be clear. It's that we can do them now with accuracy and performance without using the DOM calculation. So right now, the DOM doesn't need to calculate where the text goes. It's all done with this library. It is extremely fast and accurate and performative. So here we see a masonry layout with hundreds, if not thousands of, probably thousands of text boxes, again, at 120 FPS. Why does this matter? This matters because when you have a layout such as this, how do you define how big the scroll amount is? How do you define where, when you scroll, when does the computer starts rendering, the browser starts rendering the next text? Do you render everything and show it? That would mean you need to have a lot of rendering to do. But if you don't do it, then how do you guess the height? You can't. So you can't unless you do the rendering, which is really performance intensive, even though it is text, but it is performance intensive. But now he does it with something like this, which is so impressive. This is impressive, especially like imagine with the interfaces we have. I don't know if you have noticed it or not, but even in ChatGPT, if you have a long conversation, it becomes extremely laggy. It becomes so laggy to just scroll. It is partially because of the browser is trying to understand the height of this text. And especially if you resize things, the browser has to calculate everything again. But this bypasses that DOM calculation entirely. Here, there is this really interesting example. And this is where my brain broke for a second. I was doing this and I was thinking like, why can't you do this with CSS text pretty?
Sure.
Again, I'm not the developer here. So I was looking at precisely, let me show you. Look at this. Oh, wait, it handles this, this text. This is done with Pretext. This is done with CSS. And I was like, why can't you do this with CSS text pretty? You can do this. But I was completely forgetting, or like I didn't understand before testing it. I did start testing it. You can break the lines and have the text to look like this with text wrap pretty, but you don't know the box size. Like you cannot make the box size to be what the text inside is. With CSS, it's not aware of that. So you have a lot of wasted pixels. You have this layout with this wasted pixels, where with Pretext, it's all calculated. And by the way, he did this by doing tons of calculations with agents running on multiple browsers for multiple weeks. So that's also quite impressive. And here is another use case. And a lot of people, by the way, so far you probably see this and you're like, why are you making text unreadable? That's not the point. It's not about making it unreadable. It's about creating any layout with like high performance without the need to do all that calculation, all that measurement. All of this is just a showcase of what is possible. We have another cool showcases before I read that one. So here we have a 3D model that is moving and doing all the recalculations automatically. Again, these are not practical things. These are more like just to showcase the performance. Maybe I should read this, and maybe you can include it in the video. Maybe you exclude it. I'm not sure.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
Yeah, I found this tweet also explaining it fairly well. So let's go through it. Let me explain the importance of this. An engineer solved a problem that's been plaguing the internet for how do you pronounce this?
Plaguing.
I don't know what that means actually.
Infiltrating or
yeah. Okay,
disease,
it makes
like a disease type of thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Now I know. I kind of know. Okay, now I know. Now I know for sure. An engineer solved a problem that's been plaguing the internet for 3 decades. Every website you've ever used relies on a text layout system from the 1990s. The browser loads a font, measures text, figures out where lines break, and positions everything vertically. Every step depends on the previous one. Every step forces the browser to pause and recalculate. You felt this problem plenty times before, even if you didn't know what caused it. Slack's scroll jumping when message heights are wrong. Google Docs getting slow on long documents because every keystroke recalculates everything below your cursor. AI chat apps getting junky when streaming because each new token can cause a line wrap that shifts the entire page. Same root cause every damn time. Text measurement is locked inside the browser's DOM. It's slow and there's been no alternative for 30 damn years. Pretext bypasses all of it. Pure TypeScript text measurement, no DOM, no CSS, no browser reflow. You give it text, a font, and a width. It returns exact line breaks, width, and height using pure math. Around 500 times faster in many cases than the standard approach. Supports every language, that's very interesting, including mixed bidirectional text. I do this all the time, by the way. I do this all the time in my texting. And it's broken. This is broken on every single app ever. CJK, I don't know what that means.
No, I don't.
I don't know what that is. Let's Google it. CJK stands for Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. Okay. Japanese, Korean, Arabic, and emojis. The engine is 15 kilobytes, built and validated by running Claude Code and Codex against browser ground truth for weeks. The demos are wild. Hundreds of thousands of text boxes virtualized at 120 frames per second, no DOM measurement. Shrink-wrapped chat bubbles with 0 wasted pixels, something CSS literally cannot do. Responsive multi-column magazine layout that reflow dynamically, variable font, ASCII art. Just a byproduct of this, you can do ASCII art with variable font. Over the years, developers moved rendering to canvas, scrolling to custom implementation, positioning to JS. But text was the one thing you couldn't move out of the browser. It was the last piece locked inside of the DOM with no alternative. Now we have a solution. This was built by Chang Lu, one of the foundational developers behind React, Facebook Messenger, and Midjourney. He's not just anyone, lol. If you build anything on the web, this now changes what literally possible. This unlocks new UI patterns, layout interfaces, and experiences like we've never seen before. Go look at the demos in the quote post. It's open source, npm install, insane. These are all running in a browser. The future of design is still to come. So yeah, this is very optimistic. This is saying it is going to be huge. And the examples people are making are big. I have one more thing to show, and I want you to be critical. I don't know if you know.
Okay.
Let me find it. What did I call it?
It's an interesting time, and we'll end on like a light, not a light note, but we'll end on something slightly tangential from the normal stuff. But it's interesting when this comes, and that'll make more sense when I talk about what I'm going to talk about in a bit.
I did a Webflow project. I need to find it. Is it in my playground? Webflow is being slow. Don't show me the spinner. I found it. All right, so one thing to show that might be useful, and you tell me, I will find some time to go and do this with Pretext. So I did this last year with GSAP and with vibe coding. And you see, if I load the page, we have this container. You see, we have some space around this container with a lot of text. And when I move the cursor, we have some funky, interesting animation going on. And if I press start, here we see these canvas windows with text in them. This was quite difficult for me to get right because it was hard to, by the way, all of these, see them as windows where I have these like text. These are canvas. So I'm rendering text in the canvas. The reason I'm doing this is one is for performance, and two is like I wanted to do more stuff, but like mainly for performance, because if you create these many nodes, you cannot load, you cannot do anything. This can be really fast, really problematic, because each one of these would be a separate, actually multiple separate div blocks, right? It would be thousands and thousands of div blocks on the page. So because of that, I made all of these in the canvas. But there are artifacts. For example, do you see at the top of these, there are these, it doesn't show correctly when I zoom. You see, this is another type of artifacts. It's not perfect alignment. It is hard to measure the height of the text and then reflow this in the canvas, especially with doing it dynamically depending on the user's browser window size and the font size and things like that. It was quite difficult to get it right, and it's still not right. So I think this library can help me. Do you think I'm understanding this right? Do you think this can help me? Instead of doing it in the canvas, I can do it just with Pretext?
Well, the benefit of Pretext, you don't, this is all graphical. It doesn't mean anything. You don't want this. You actually don't want this to be, screen readable, the text in the background. So it might play to your advantage to keep it in the canvas. However, I think the benefits of Pretext is that you're keeping indexable font text and it being screen readable and accessible and manipulatable, with, you know, again, it's text that needs to be selected, it's text that needs to be read and understood by screen readers. It might make it easier from an implementation standpoint to use this library, and it does a few of the, you know, positioning things like that, but you most certainly want to wrap all of that in some sort of area, hidden, or some way that a screen reader isn't going to land. I mean, am I gonna
get
find
that
if I go to will I go to this website with a screen reader? Will it read all of this text out to me, or is it going to be hidden?
No. But the idea of this was something very geeky, by the way. That's why it has a purpose. There's a reason why it has this effect. This is like communicating
that's
something.
Fine. Yeah, that's totally
fine. But yeah, I agree. It doesn't have to be readable. It doesn't have to be readable. Shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be readable. To be specific, it should not be readable. I agree with that. But when I saw the pretext, the first thing I thought about was this. But even though now I kind of understand that it doesn't need to be pretext, but still, because still with pretext, it means every one of these would be a node in my document. It still will make it really heavy, where doing it in the canvas has its own benefits. Now I want to show one last thing with this. I found also this tweet. This is not relevant to pretext necessarily. I've been playing around with Chrome's experimental HTML in Canvas API. Interesting. I use it to create my videos, and I wanted to see if I could make text selection work on a curved surface by moving the underlying element around on pointer move. It works pretty well. Again, this is not necessarily pretext. It is kind of similar to what I have. It is text in a canvas. Text in a canvas has its own issues, often with font and rendering and spacing and sharpness, and definitely not selectable, or so far hasn't been selectable, but now it is, because I think it has a tween. Again, it's not the same thing, but I'm showing this in the same context because depending on what you want to do with pretext, this might be something more interesting. It might be something that you, and it is open source, it is probably something that you need. So anyway, I will probably spend some time going into both of these. Quite fun. People are building cool shit on the internet, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's we'll wrap up there. I'll go through something that I just literally saw this morning, and it just got me thinking. And I know music isn't like a big part of your life; it's a massive part of my life. But there's a commonality and a reference to AI in this time, which I think is totally relevant. So let me just show you a video that I watched, if I can share my screen. Have you heard of a band called Agine de Potraine at all?
No.
Or seen? I'll play it music.
You've almost certainly seen this.
It's these two guys, and they're black and white painted dots. And the music is very, very trippy. It's all like, this guy goes on to explain, if you're a music nerd, the reason why they are intriguing, because first of all, they're using weird time signatures. And if you're in the audience and you understand music, you know what time signatures are. You can see sometimes it's 6/8, sometimes it's 9/8. And they also use different notes than what we're used to hearing in Western music. They're using notes in between. So you can see this guitar here that's got all of these, so many more frets than a normal guitar. I wish I could show you a normal guitar, but there's almost like a metal bar, what they call fret, in between each of these things, which gives them access to some of these notes. And then lastly, they talk about the looping. So he's recording one piece of guitar, having it loop, and then playing another piece of guitar over the top, and it's all very intricate, and it's mesmerizing to watch from a musical standpoint. But then he gets into the art side of things and why this is so intriguing right now in the age of AI. And maybe we can listen to what he says. I'm hoping I timed that right, that we could just play it.
But their appearance is important too. It often gets described as being Dadaist. And if you don't know, Dadaism was an art movement about 100 years ago, which ultimately led to Surrealism. And it was all about incongruity, about things that didn't belong together, things that broke the rules of what the viewer expected. It was even the birth of the whole what is art debate. And it's interesting that Dadaism back then was a direct response to the machinery of war and of modern life. And that's probably what's happening now. If you go back even further, look at the effect that photography had on art, and how once that anyone could create images using this simple little machine, art changed radically. Painters stopped trying to depict what was in front of them as perfectly as possible, figurative art, because what's the point? And they got more creative with Impressionism, and ultimately that led to Dadaism, Expressionism, Cubism, because what is the point of trying to paint what's in front of you perfectly when you can just take a photo? And that freed artists. It actually pushed them to do something more interesting with their paintbrush. Because right now in Google Gemini, as of this month, anyone can create fully produced music tracks with just a text prompt. Modern music is unbelievably formulaic, and AI is trained on those formulas. So
I'll stop it there. Did that come through okay?
It did, and it does make sense. So it basically pushes us from the mundane and the templated and the simple, and what is in the terms of photography, what is real, to go into abstraction and a level higher, and into expression. Well, yeah. I like that.
And the reason why I think this is, important, and I thought about this before he even brought in the AI conversation. I was thinking about this when he was talking about art and stuff like that. And it's so interesting because we've spoken about this before, where I've forgotten the exact word I used or exact phrase I used, but it's like we are redefining the worldview. We're redefining our worldview. If you go back to some of the earliest episodes of this show, I talk about we have no idea the implications of what AI can do, because we're going to redefine our worldview. We particularly spoke about it when we were talking about job loss and this idea that we're all becoming redundant. And it's like, well, yes, but our worldview will be repainted, and we'll think about things in a very, very different way based on the new norm. And on the photography aspect as well, this is just a pin. I'm just going to put a pin in this. We talk about, everything happens in cycles, and we talk about we're talking as though AI is the first time we've been presented with something that's completely taken more specifically jobs, but in the context of life and the world and stuff like that. We think it's this new thing that's going to whatever. No, it's been done many, many times before. And the examples we've given here on this show is about farming, when farming used to all be done by hand. And then machinery came, and you could replace your field of 100 farmers all picking seeds and fruits and vegetables out the soil. All of their jobs were wiped when the tractor came along. Okay, so we're just talking about this cyclical thing where we're always presented with a new paradigm that we inevitably adjust to and create a new worldview for ourselves. Now, that's a bit too intense. Bringing it back to creativity and fun, again, it's so interesting that the revolt that happened against, well, what's the point? We can take a photo now. They saw that technology had replaced them. This is an interesting use case where designers or artists thought, well, instead of letting it join us, how do we revolt against it and become more interesting and become more relevant? And that's what I hope that AI will bring. I hope that AI will push us. We're in a difficult generation right now. And I watched an amazing video last night when I couldn't sleep about Mr. Beast and his whole thing being awful for children. His whole, this retention grabbing editing that we're all kind of guilty of. But we're losing our attention spans. Most of you probably lost what I'm trying to talk about here in the attention span fucking nightmare that we're in. But we've got to balance that kind of understanding with, instead of crossing our arms as creators, as developers, being like, oh no, AI is this, AI is that, like we can't, whatever. Be empowered to do something about it and use AI to your advantage and leverage it, and or go completely off the rails and do something very, very different, which is why your retext really had me, you know, kind of both sides of the fence here, because we're losing the reason for a website, not losing it 100% completely, but definitely it's been, you know, let's say truncated, to use a text-based word, talking about text, the need for beautiful websites. We don't need them to be as beautiful anymore, particularly, I mean, they never were, let's be honest, like recipe websites and things like that. They never were, but because lots more people are sourcing the information that they need through AI, they're not going through to the website. Thus, much less websites need to be designed. They still, however, do. I'm never going to say that a website never needs to not be designed. All that to be said, it's interesting how this text-based thing has come maybe as a revolt against AI. To tie all this back to your text, to Pretext, maybe that person was determined, because it's like, fuck this, we need to make websites much more interesting, because they're all just going to become the same and functional. So yeah, a bit of a roundabout way to tie all that together. I found this video particularly interesting. We'll obviously put Will Francis will obviously put his thing down below, but this whole concept of art, culture, and the internet is kind of, it's up for grabs at the moment, and I hope we can see the opportunity that's potentially here, and artists can, yeah, just be artists again.
Yeah,
thoughts,
but
feelings.
I do like. No, I very much like the take. AI is just a tool, and I like the idea of using it to go higher in the ladder of abstraction, whatever that means for you, however it allows you to express yourself. It can be strictly for learning. You can do whatever you are doing and use AI to learn. Let it do your early experiments. Let it do your early resource gathering. Don't trust it. Don't take its output as final output. It can be just like a tool, an assistant, just like how internet is. AI is in the same way. And I agree with you. It's another paradigm shift, like the example you mentioned with farming. The AI companies tend to make it to be much bigger than it is. It is bigger than the previous paradigm shifts, but probably not as big as the AI companies are making it to be. By the way, I grew up as my dad was a farmer, and I was born in a village, and we had a farm, and I grew up helping my family on a farm, like actually doing work. And my dad was someone who was always looking forward to do like things in a new way. So he got always his hands on like the newest machinery that didn't actually exist pretty much anywhere, or like tried to build something together. I did that. So like trying to, you know, there is no glorification in suffering. Suffering to like doing things in a manual way. Like if you can imagine and if you can build tools, what are we? We're animals who can use their brain to build tools, right? We have a freaking spaceship on the way to the moon, right? We are building tools. So I'm really looking forward to AI and the future just for building tools. And this Pretext is a perfect example, because he used AI to do the dirty job, to do the busy calculations of comparing results of different browsers, which would take months, if not probably years by hand to try to understand how different browsers do this. And he did the optimization. It is an optimization that he has done by letting the AI to do the scrappy job. And what he did, he moved the ladder. He moved up in the ladder of abstraction, and he is the creative one, right?
And that's it. It's like I do feel like, I mean, obviously I can only respond to comments that we get on our videos rather than actually speaking, and obviously you get the loud minority, right? But the impression we get, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, the impression we get is that there's a lot of uproar and not a lot of support for AI, where from designers who can look at it and be like, you know what, I'm going to get it to just build me a friggin' layout, because be damned if I do that again. I'm going to go and spend an hour on Pinterest, find loads of crazy designs and inspiration, while the AI is doing all my dirty work for me. You know what? Why there's a lot of this kind of crossing of arms and rejection of it, when it can play as little role as you want. It could write you an email to your client telling, you know, how you want an extension on your project. It can be very, very small, or you can take it over. The world is your oyster, you know, grab it by the cojones and see it for what it is. But yeah, all that to be said is I am intrigued about the whole paradigm we're moving into, and how areas of life and how we do things and how we think of things is going to be shaped in a way that you can't even comprehend right now. And we're in the midst of all of that, and new and interesting ideas will come of this, because it is the new norm. And yeah, we're nerding out over Agine de Potraine. They're a French band, they're a French Canadian band, which is why I talk like that. It is so fascinating right now. Everyone's mesmerized because we are sick to death of seemingly the same old pop music, you know. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Cool. Yeah,
let's wrap it up. This was
exciting world ahead.
We managed to get through it.
Yeah. Even though this week we didn't have like tons of research done previously, I had some of these. I have a tag in my Twitter called for videos. So when I find things that are interesting, I put it in for videos. I have one for long reads to read them sometime in the future. Who knows when? So I gathered lists, and yeah, I think it was pretty good. We managed it pretty well, and it was interesting. I was personally like interested in reading that long tweet. I skimmed through it, but now I read it and I'm like, okay, nice. Yeah, I understand it now better.
You know, we are technically journalists, right? Like or low that we are journalists. We are broadcasting our news, we're broadcasting our opinions, and this is journalism, right? And especially in the day, and by the way, I'll send you this video, this Mr. Beast video. It's incredible. It talks about how this retention viewing is just not conducive to the growth of our little ones, our kids, you know. It's teaching them to just be entertained in that moment and seek nothing more outside of that. And the comparison he makes to a guy, I've forgotten his name, Mr. Frederick, I think they call him in the show, who granted was from like the 1960s, 1970s, took a complete different approach up against all these modern cartoons that are coming in. They're all flashbangs and animals and crazy cartoons, and you know how we all know and love. He really revolted against that and took the slow, thought-provoking approach and talked about the kids' feelings and what they want to do with their lives and how they should approach difficult situations and stuff like that. And that was his whole thing, playing more of the long game and the growth of and the maturity of the little ones. I'll send you the video. It blew me away.
Yeah, that would be amazing. You know, I have a son,
Yeah.
and he's in
Yeah.
school. He's in school. He's in Montessori, by the way. I don't know if you know about the Montessori school. It's
No.
I don't think it exists only in Germany. It might, but it's a private school. It's a private school. They are not very tech, not tech, but they are not happy to see you, for example, there on your phone, right? When you are in school, it's that type of school that they are encouraging
I mean, as it should be.
people
It's
to
funny
be.
how that's
It should be.
a private school thing, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. It should be, and the way they are, they have a bunch of good things about them and how they teach kids, and it's about being independent and doing things on your own. But I do see this issue what you are talking about with content out there, with cartoons, with this like short attention span. The issue with this short form content is not just one of the issues is that the attention span, you watch 30-second long videos. Another issue that I learned about recently is how each video makes you feel different from the previous one. And you're just not built for that. Your brain cannot comprehend this amount of feeling changes, because in one you're excited, in the other one you're sad, in the other one you're angry, in the other one you feel completely different. And when you watch so many videos and your brain starts to process this many different feelings, you just cannot. Your brain is not meant for this. And let's end this by, I don't know if you are excited about any movies coming out this year.
Well, it's already out. Hail Mary, definitely.
You have heard of Dune for sure. Probably.
Oh, the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dune. So I've got really fascinated with the idea of Dune. There are like 23 books. It's really deep. The story, there's like huge philosophy behind it. I haven't read the books, but I'm reading and watching like long form videos about the books and about the stories a lot, and it's fascinating. Yeah, video essays. A lot of the concepts in Dune, by the way, something that most people probably don't know, is a lot of these things happening in Dune are not actual conversations between people. A lot of the content of these books are thoughts. These people like thinking. So that is something very interesting that I learned about it. And a lot of it is about, it goes deep into philosophy. It goes like really deep into society. There are like, the main thing is thinking machines, right? It's kind of like, it's not exactly AI, but it's kind of like AI/computers. It is when human let the thinking machine do the thinking for them, thinking that it will set them free, but it just put the power into the hands of the people who own these machines, because they can shape how you think. And yeah, maybe end with that, just become aware of what you think, and if that thinking is yours or is being injected to you by one of these like short attention grabbing pieces of content. Just be critical of that.
Yeah. What a philosophical end to the show. Well, that is all we've got time for. So join us next week on the show. We've got a website, Cmd+AI show.com. Like, if you're on YouTube, how many of you are on YouTube? Probably not many. None. Zero on YouTube right now. We're all coming on from Twitter. Jesus. Hello, Twitter. Come and join us on YouTube. Give us a like there. Make the algorithm work for us. Join us next week for all the news in AI, design, and web. I believe.
Oh, you cut off, but I guess it's my turn to say I've been covered.
Keep on vibing, baby.
Peace out.